Over 250 years ago, our founding fathers set forth on this continent to create a new nation conceived in liberty and the dedication that all men and women are created equal. And as we move forward into the future, we find that people that we put in charge are attempting to take those freedoms away. This is Don't Tread on America. All right, guys, how's it going out there today? It is Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. And before I get into the show and our usual fuckery, just wanted to let you all in on a little something here. I started a Rumble account and just started it today. I'm video recording this episode. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not a TV kind of guy. I have more of a face for the radio. But I figure this is just another way to get the word out there and find another branch of audience, I guess would be a good way to say it. So before we get into it too deep, I want to thank our sponsors out there. Don't forget to visit them at Smooth My Balls Razors, smoothmyballs.com/DTOM, 20% off on all razors and accessories. And, you know, since I'm doing the video, I can actually show some stuff. So this is something they sent me here. This is the Feed My Pubes. It's a vacuum, essentially. So you shave your back, your arms, your your whatevers. They sent me these too. I guess they said I needed some balls. Oh. Anyway, you do your stuff. You're in the bathroom, whether it's in the shower or over the sink or whatever. And this thing, you turn that on. It's got a little vacuum, little brush there. You can clean the sink up. It's it's kind of cool. And they also have these men grooming kits. So you have the razor, the nail clips, little scissors, and so on and so forth. A little brush to clean the razor out with. So anyway, it's a cool little company. They're new. Go and check them out. Like I said, www.smoothmyballs.com/DTOM, and check out some of their products. And also, don't forget, we are a brand ambassador for Maker's Mark Whiskey. Also, check them out if you drink whiskey. And if you don't, hey, drink beer. If you don't, hey, drink water. That's what I drink a lot of. So, anyway, on to the show. I got to tell you guys, there's a lot of stuff going on, as you guys are all well aware, in this world today. I don't have to tell you this, but, keep downloading the show. Anyway, there's a lot of content that we can go over, and I know there's stuff I'm missing from show to show, and it's really the biggest reason is I could sit here and do a 2-hour show or more. I'll be honest with you, with all the shit that's going on. So I know there's stuff that I miss here and there. The last show, I know I was listening to it, and I get to rambling because I got so much stuff. So I'm really trying to limit myself to topics, cover said topics, and if I don't cover them all within a certain time frame, that's why I'm trying to do more shows. So if I can do the 3 shows a week, whatever I don't hit today, I can hit Friday. Whatever I don't hit Friday, I can hit Sunday, so on and so forth. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm videoing this, and it'll be up on Rumble later today if I think it looks good or sounds good. I don't even know what the sound quality is going to be like, so we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, check us out on Rumble if you have a Rumble account. If you don't, get a Rumble account, because get the hell off of YouTube. The biggest reason I didn't even bother doing a YouTube account was because listening to other shows, I listened to like Bongino and Crowder and just different guys, and they get demonetized, or if they say something on a show, about COVID or whatever, boom, it gets cut. It gets either deleted, either the whole video gets deleted, or that segment gets deleted. So what's the point of wasting my time videoing it for YouTube if you're going to miss half it? Because I go off on such a tangent on bullshit that you'll be like, I'll be like, hey, it's the show. Welcome to Don't Tread on America. And all right, guys, thank you for listening. Blah, blah, blah. It'll be like that. You know, it'll be like, I thought his show was like 45 minutes long. It was like a minute long. It was the intro, him saying some bullshit, and then the outro, and then gave us a big fat sugar water, and that was it. But I listened to the podcast, and it was like 45 minutes long. Anyway, go to Rumble. Basically the same thing as YouTube. It's free. You subscribe, and you can watch, different videos, different whatever. So if you do have a Rumble account, or if you get a Rumble account, look us up. Don't Tread on America, just like the podcast. Give us a like. Please share on your social media platforms, and just check us out and give us a thumbing and a liking. And that goes as well as if you're listening to us on whatever platform as far as the podcast is concerned, whether that be Apple, Google Play, Amazon, iHeart, Spotify, and most definitely Podbean. And the reason I keep pushing Podbean is because, number one, that's our distributor to get this podcast out. Number two, if I get more followers on Podbean, then maybe one day one of these shows will be a live show. Maybe when I'm bored on a Saturday night and I don't have to work, next morning, I'll do a live show. Crack open some beers and we'll do a live show. Take some questions and, we'll just fuck around a little bit while we're still free in America. Because right now, the way things are going in Australia, freedom is running amok, or freedom is not running anywhere. So saw this little tidbit this morning when I was getting ready, doing some show prep. So in Australia, they have so if you don't know this, and I didn't know this, most people think when you think of a country, whatever country that is, with the exception of ours, you think it's Australia. You think it's, England. You think it's, whatever. And for whatever reason, I guess I'm stupid to the fact, I'm not saying you guys are, but I'm stupid to the fact that why wouldn't Australia have states like, we have the 50 United States, blah, 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 Florida, Georgia, so on and so forth. Well, obviously, so does Australia. I mean, they don't have Florida and Georgia, but you know what I'm saying. They have, I don't know all the states, so pardon my ignorance. But nonetheless, this app is being tested in South Australia. So I'm assuming that's the area where Melbourne is. And basically what it is a facial recognition app. So I'm going to read this. This is off of the Daily Caller. And it is words. Okay. An Australian state is testing out a new app that uses facial recognition technology to ensure residents are complying with COVID-19 home quarantine orders. The app listed as Home Quarantine SA is an app in app stores and unveiled by the South Australian government in late August. Uses geolocation for facial recognition software to track those quarantining themselves. So the app ensures citizens comply with quarantine orders by contacting people at random and asking them to provide proof of their location. Within 15 minutes, citizens then share their location with the government or provide live face check-ins to confirm they're at their registered quarantine address. According to the app's description, we do not tell them how often or when on random basis they will have within 15 minutes. So if you're not at your quarantine location, your registered quarantine address, so if you're not at your house essentially, and they hit you up with this FaceTime, whatever, you've got 15 minutes to respond, so you better be within 15 minutes of your house or you're screwed. Under South Australia's COVID-19 guidelines, health officials and law enforcement officers, let me repeat that. Health officials and law enforcement officers can direct citizens to quarantine in their homes or in quarantine hotels. So do you think is it a hotel? Is it a quarantine camp? for 14 days. People who break the quarantine face up to a $1,000 fine, according to the guidelines. Individuals who miss their geolocation check-ins will receive a follow-up phone call where they will have to discuss why they missed the notification. And if they missed that, a compliance officer, so I would assume that's the Australia's version of the Gestapo, may visit their home according to the apps. We just use it. So this is someone they interviewed, ABC. I don't think that's ABC as in ABC around here. I think that's Australian broadcast company. But anyway, we use this to verify that people are where they say they're going to be during the home-based quarantine. The app's pilot program began August 23rd, contains 50 people, though Marshall told ABC it plans it's going to be a statewide option. I think every South Australian should feel pretty proud that we are the national pilot for the home-based quarantine app, so on and so forth. So this is something that they're starting. It's starting in South Australia, and this is basically the beginning of the end, in my opinion. You know, as far as Australia is concerned, because I obviously don't live there, but I've listened to other podcasts and they've talked to Australian citizens and stuff. And to listen to them, the cases are I'm not even going to say relatively low. They are low to the point where they started this app. So it said August 23rd, 25th, whatever it was. So you're only talking like 2 weeks ago. And at the time in that area, there was 6 cases. 6 cases. Not even 6 deaths. Even if it was 6 deaths, I'd be like, damn, 6 deaths, that's it. 6 cases. I don't even know what their numbers are at overall as a country or this particular state of Australia. But they're not playing. Now, and I mentioned this on the show a couple weeks ago, is this a situation where it's not about, we've been saying this, it's not about the cases, it's not about the deaths, it's not about anything. It's even not about the vaccine. Because as we are well aware, if you're paying attention, okay, so back in, January, it was like vaccine, we're going to do the old people first, and it, trickulates down through the age groups and the health, if you're sick and whatever. And then if you recall in the spring, early summer, it was about, at that point, everyone can get the vaccine, and we need you to get the vaccine because if you want to celebrate your 4th of July holiday, you've got to be vaccinated, And then if you get the vaccine, you don't have to wear the mask. And if you get the vaccine, you can get together for hot dogs and sodas for 4th of July. It'd be great, And a lot of people like me are like, you know what, I'm going to do that shit anyway, so fuck your vaccine. But anyway, then the creepy, scary Delta variant came out. And then it was still, well, if you get the vaccine, you won't get as sick as, if you didn't have the vaccine. If you don't have the vaccine, you're going to die, basically. But if you get the vaccine, then you're not going to get as sick. Okay, so let me ask you, if I get the vaccine, can I still get COVID? Yes. If I get the vaccine, can I still transmit COVID? Yes. So once again, what was the point of the vaccine? So you don't get as sick. Okay. So let me ask you a question. If I'm a relatively healthy individual and I exercise and I eat right and I, take my vitamins and say my prayers, yeah, brother. If I do those things, if I take vitamins and I take care of myself and I do medication and I don't smoke cigarettes and I don't chew tobacco and I don't drink alcohol on a daily basis, what then? Well, you probably won't get as sick. Wait, what? So if I'm obese, out of shape, eat McDonald's every day, don't work out, and don't get off my ass, then what? Oh, well, then you should probably get the vaccine because you're probably going to die if you get COVID. Okay, not a doctor. People that know me know I'm not a doctor. I did stay at a Holiday. No, I didn't. But my point being is we should be, you know, God gave us an immune system, okay? Now, granted, some people don't, they, skip the line on that day, I guess, up in heaven before they were created or during the process. People get sick. People have heart issues. People have lung issues. People have asthma. People have, whatever. I get that. But it's been my experience, and I can speak on this in my opinion, and this has nothing to do with me being a doctor and not being a doctor. This is my personal opinion based on my personal experience. If you are, I believe, if you are a healthy person, relatively healthy, and people that know me know that, okay, I've said this plenty of times before. You guys know I've missed doing Wednesday shows because, why? I'm at the cancer hospital. I'm doing treatment. I'm doing whatever. But my own doctors there tell me, you're the healthiest sick person we know. And I'm like, I'm only as sick as you guys tell me. So, but, I do what I have to do, and I take my medicine because my wife, for whatever reason, wants me to live. I guess she loves me. But other than that, I'm healthy. I go to the gym 3-4 times a week. I work at a job that I'm on my feet for 9 to 10 hours a day. I'm moving, I'm shaking, I do shit around the house, I do yard work, I do, I just, whatever. Yeah, I drink a beer every now and again. I don't smoke. I don't drink on a constant basis. And when I say I have a beer every now and again, I literally have a beer every now and again. I don't drink much alcohol. And when I do, it's on an occasion. I know we are a brand ambassador to Maker's Mark. I have some Maker's Mark. I'm just not a guy that drinks liquor on a daily basis or a weekly basis for that matter. But with that being said, Maker's Mark's a nice, smooth alcohol. So if you are going to make a whiskey and Coke, I almost called it Jack and Coke. I guess I can't do that anymore, right? But you know what I'm saying. Point being is, I'm not sitting here saying that you shouldn't live your life and eat, lettuce and vegetables every day. Should you eat lettuce and vegetables occasionally, a couple times a week? Yeah. You can supplement that also, too, by taking vitamins. By taking, they have supplements. I do a protein shake every day. I add supplements. I'm going to say it because whatever. I add Super Beets to my protein shake. Helps with your nitric. I can speak good. I can do it. It helps with your nitrous oxide levels. And I put the protein in there. I try to get around 180 to 200 grams of protein a day. I drink a shit ton of water. And, the key is I really didn't want this to go into a whole COVID rant, but here we are. The key is if you, a year and a half ago when all this shit happened and they told you that one of the group of people that were at risk, other than heart and lung and was obesity. So why didn't we as Americans and as America, and why didn't our government push the health factor instead of pushing lockdowns, pushing mask mandates, pushing anything else? They should have been pushing health. They should have been encouraging people to go outside. Like, okay, at the time when everything was locked down, like the gyms were locked down, and, I get it. Gyms were locked down. Schools were closed. Most of your businesses were closed except for your grocery stores and Walmarts and stuff like that. But what killed me is parks were closed. Outdoor parks were closed. And I'm not talking about Disney and shit. I'm talking about parks where you take your kids and let them play on the slides and the swings and whatnot. They were closed. Walking trails were closed. Are you kidding me? Now, and that was in Florida. Now, I heard in some states and obviously in some countries, you couldn't even leave your house. Like in Australia, with this app, it is a situation where they have a zero tolerance for this. Okay, so for 207 plus days, so they've been on lockdown. So that's, I don't even know what's that. 10, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months. They've been on a lockdown. And that's just with, like I said, with the 6 cases. Their deaths are nothing. You can leave your house for 2 hours a day. 2. Now, I would assume that has nothing to do with going to work. That is basically going to the store. Like, so if you're at work, I would assume the only people that can leave their house even to go to work are your essential workers. So if they, obviously their grocery stores and drugstores and places like that are open, so those people have to work. And then I would assume the people that supply these stores, your different vendors and whatnot, they obviously are working. And then of course your police and fire department and obviously the military, because they're involved in all of this bullshit too. But other than that, you have to have a reason. Like, this is a 1935 Germany show us your papers situation, because if you're outside of the house, you better have a damn good reason to be there. And not to mention the fact your curfew is from 9 to 5. So that means if you're out past those times, you better have your shit in order, or you're going to go to jail. I mean, they are not playing. Now, I've asked this question before. Is it a situation where in Australia, with Australia being where it's at, it's an island nation, the only way we as Americans, or we as the rest of the world, can even see what's going on is if they release the information. So by that I mean if their news agencies don't release the information, and it could be a situation where if the government doesn't allow their news agencies to release the information. We've already seen, I think it's Sun News in Australia, which oddly enough is a division of Fox News, and that's really, I think, the reason we're seeing anything out of Australia is because with Fox owning that news agency, they have access to their archives. But I'd be willing to bet the bulk of what you're seeing isn't allowed outside of the country. There was a video, I think Chris sent it to me on, I don't know if it was on Twitter or TikTok, but one of the two anyway. That's about the only things you're seeing are illegal tapes or videos is people taking them with their cell phones, and then what they do is they take a video, whether it's, like I said, whether it's on Twitter or TikTok, and then they immediately put it out there because damn sure guarantee it's going to be gone. So there was a situation where people are out on a lake, outside. It wasn't like there was 100 people. There was literally a handful of people, and they were enjoying the sun. It was a nice day. Fucking choppers flying over top. Get back in your homes. Quarantine. Blah, blah, blah. Curfew. Da, da, da. It's ridiculous. I mean, as bad as anyone in this country thinks they have it. Now, granted, like I said, in the state of Florida, pretty much since last July, we've been good to go. But obviously, if you're listening to us in California or Oregon, Washington, Minnesota, you guys know what I'm talking about. You haven't had the luxury that we've had down here. But even as bad as you guys think you've had it, it's nothing compared to what Australia is going through right now. And they had a situation where when this all started last year, it was much like the rest of the world and much like what we went through in this whole in our country here, even in Florida and Texas and stuff, where we had the lockdowns, and because no one really knew what the hell was going on, so it was like, we got to lock it down, we got to do whatever. And they did the same thing there, and then the cases got better, and I don't know that they removed everything 100%, but they relieved it a little bit, and then shit kind of hit the fan. And I don't even think shit hit the fan out there as much as it hit the fan in other parts of the world, and they were like, lock it down. And it's like, okay, why? And they're not playing, you know. Now in Florida, the numbers did spike. And around here, I don't know what people are hearing around the country, but around here in this state, of course, you're going to have your Biden, whatever, and those people. Oh, DeSantis is trying to kill everybody. Look at it. Motherfuckers, you weren't saying that a few months ago when he eased restrictions and you guys could go about your business and everything was hunky-dory. As we all know, just like the flu, once again, I'm not a fucking doctor, but I do have fucking common sense. I'm going to say this. Just like the flu, a lot of people think the flu is a winter cold. In Florida, it is not. See, the flu is a virus, much like COVID, even though we don't talk about the flu anymore because, it's been cured, oddly enough, because of COVID. But with COVID being a flu, with COVID being a virus, much like the flu is a virus, the virus spreads. It's an indoor disease, so to speak. It's a airborne infectious disease, but it's contained much like this. Okay. In the state of Florida, if you live in Florida, everyone knows this. This is news of the obvious. If Chris was here, he would be saying that. It's going to spread more inside because it's hot as fucking balls outside. So what do people do? You might go to the gym, but it's inside. Like we were at the gym this morning. Packed, right? Okay. Whereas up north right now, I'm not saying it's not hot, but it's not Florida hot. It's not Texas hot. It's not Georgia hot. It's not Mississippi, Alabama, hot. It's seasonably warm for New York and Minnesota and Michigan and wherever else, right? Now, with that being said, obviously we've had issues where it's been record heat this week or this day or whatever, but on a consistent basis, it's not hot every day. So you can go outside. If you live in New York, you can go to the park outside and you're not sweating your ass off. Therefore, the flu or COVID, it isn't as bad. So in the wintertime or in the summertime in Florida, the flu is higher because more people stay inside. Up north, it's lower. Well, in the wintertime, those numbers reverse. So your cases, so just like COVID last year, when DeSantis, let everything go back to normal, it was summertime. Well, our cases started to climb. Northern numbers started to drop, and everyone was like, DeSantis is doing it wrong. Look, he's doing it wrong. Da-da-da. Well, come wintertime, northern cases started to spike. Florida's cases, southern state cases started to drop. Why? Because it wasn't 8,000 degrees outside, and people could enjoy the outside more in Florida. But it was freezing balls up north, so everyone was inside in the heat. Okay. So enough lessons on that. For more information on this, you can, no. But where I'm going with all this is I really have no idea. I don't know where I'm going with this. No. In all seriousness. My point is with all this going on in Australia is with them being where they're at, the news isn't as accessible to the rest of the world without it leaking out. So if they can kind of do what the fuck they want, and I guess they can do what the fuck they want anyway, it's their own country, and we might get mad about it, and remember, that's bullshit, that's crazy, I wouldn't want to be over there and have to deal with that. Okay. You don't think that shit's coming here? You don't think that in my whole, the last, I don't know, 10, 15 shows we've done where we've talked about the NWO, we've talked about the Rothschilds, we've talked about the Great Reset, we've talked about the New Great Depression. This shit all coincides with one another. And if you don't think that what they're doing in Australia isn't a test run for the rest of the world, you're fucking crazy. And in this country, if we don't stand up and say enough's enough, and I've said this time and time again, it has nothing to do with the vaccines or anything else. It's about control. They want control. On the last show we talked about abortion and the Texas heartbeat bill, and it was about the people that are against abortion that are against that bill are like, my body, my choice. But they're the same people bitching about people should get the vaccine. But then, so no one can agree with the fact that my body is my choice. Now, I've always considered myself to be a Republican, but as of lately, I've really seen myself going down the road of becoming more a centrist. Okay, so no one knows that term. So if you say Republicans are right and Democrats are left, okay, so what's here? If this is right and this is left, then you have the center. So centrist. A lot of people would call that libertarian, and there's probably a lot more libertarians out there than you realize. But most of your libertarians lean more right, so therefore they fall in that realm of being a Republican. And Chris will sit here and tell you, and he is totally against the two-party system, and we all should be. There should be no Republican or Democratic Party. It should be, I want to run for president, governor, mayor, city council, or whatever the case may be. It shouldn't matter if I'm a Republican or Democrat, a Green Party, a Tea Party, a whatever party. Because there's only two parties, and if you're not part of that party, you ain't going to the dance. Because they don't want you if you don't want them. And years ago, it wasn't like that. Back in the day, you had Republicans, you had Democrats, but you had other prominent parties. And whatever happened that they said, no, it's got to be this or that. Okay. Well, I don't know how much, if any, the Republican Party changed. So the Republican Party is conservative. So conservative spending, conservative beliefs, more religious, more, godly. That's why you see them on the side of, opposing people being able to get abortions, opposing, those types of things. Now, granted, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I'm not even talking 200 years ago, but within the last 100 years, the Republican Party has changed more to the fact of what they were, say, 100 years ago. They were all very religious in the sense of God this and God that, and it's God's way. And Democrats were more liberal. So you hear the term liberal. Well, Democrats nowadays are more, the only thing liberal about Democrats nowadays is their spending habits. And by that, I mean, money is no object to Democrats. They will spend the shit out of money. Whereas your Republicans, conservative, they don't want to spend money. They don't want to spend money. It's government of the people, by the people, for the people. And they believe, so that's where your libertarians fall more into the situation of a conservative mindset, because they also believe less government is better for everybody. Democrats want to rule you. So the term liberal for Democrats, in my opinion, should be thrown away, because they are hardcore leftist for the most part. I'm sure you have a small minute of Democrats that probably lean more to the center of being a Democrat, just like you have more Republicans that lean left of the right into the center. But God forbid you could just take the right and the left and however many people that mix into the center on both sides and create the Libertarian Party, we'd probably get a lot of shit done. That's just my opinion about that. But just be warned, and I've been talking about this, just be warned. Pay attention to what's going on in Australia. I'm not going to sit here and push Fox News on you. I'm not going to sit here and push the Daily Caller on you. I'm not going to sit here and push these right, because unfortunately, you can tell who's on your side. Number one, you can tell D-Tom is on your side. I'm not saying Fox is 100% on your side. I'm not saying that Daily Caller is 100% on your side. But look at the news that's being projected. Go to ABC, NBC, CNN, CNBC, whatever other channels out there. Most of them aren't even talking about the stuff that's going on in Australia. Why? Because they don't want you to know about it. They don't want you to think that that could possibly come here. Fox is. And like I said, the only reason Fox even has, I believe, a lot of their footage is because they own one of the news agencies in Australia. So my point is this. Just pay attention to what's going on. And if you don't like to watch Fox News, that's fine. Don't. But go to their webpage, go to their Fox, .com and read some of the articles. You don't have to watch their show. But I'm telling you, I have an app on my iPad and my phone, and I don't think it's called Newsbreak or whatever. I don't know if that's an app everywhere, but you put in your local information. I'm in this area of Florida, and you get a lot of your local news. The one thing, it's good and bad. The one thing I don't like about it is I see all the liberal news. But on the flip side, the good thing is I see all the liberal news. They're a very centered based news app, and they give you both sides of the information, and that's what I like about it, because not everything that Fox says is 100%. Not everything that CNN says is 100%. So, point being is, spread your information where you get it from out. Don't just focus on one news agency. If you recall on the last show, I read you an article from CNBC. Okay. And I guarantee if you guys listen to the last show and you remember that the article I read, that should have pissed you off. And that was from a news agency that is so far left it, can fall off the countertop. Anyway, so point being is, pay attention to what's going on in Australia. Read you some articles, find your information, because I'm telling you right now, the conspiracy theories running around town, are they? I don't know. Back in the 60s, the term conspiracy theory was created around Kennedy's death. And it was created by the CIA, who said, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Conspiracy is something that takes two or more, I think there's 2 or more, 3 or more people to create. So if there's one person that kills a person, then that one person killed him. If it's 2 people, then it's a conspiracy. Okay? And that's your conspiracy theory, because a lot of people still don't believe that Oswald acted by himself. There's your conspiracy, more than one person, right? So when the CIA says, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, I don't believe them. I don't believe that it's a conspiracy theory. Theories are made to be proven true, much like the vaccine was a theory at one time. Anyway, so before we go on more stuff, I don't want to keep dwelling in on this COVID crap, because I know people are getting sick and tired of it, but I saw this shit about the Australia stuff, and it just drove me crazy. Something I wanted to get to on the last show that really, really pissed me off was Pelosi. So everyone knows about the 13 service members that were killed in Afghanistan 2 weeks ago. One of the congressmen, I don't recall who it was, and it doesn't really matter who it was, because the key figure in this story is dipshit Pelosi. So he wanted to read the names of the fallen service members, kind of give them a moment of silence. She was like, no, we don't have time for that. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm telling you right now, the best day that we will have in this country is in a year and a half, or not even a year and a half. So like a year and 2 months, when the Republicans, and I know I just sat there and said Republican, Democrat, blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. Until we can change that, it is what it is. I personally believe that the Republicans are going to it's going to be a red, white. I'm not an Alabama fan. People that know me know that that's the case. But this is going to be a red tidal wave. And unless something happens in the next 8 months that would cause this to not happen, I don't see how this could possibly not happen. But I can see the Republicans taking the Senate and the Congress, and when that happens, Pelosi's gone. Now she'll still be in Congress, but she won't be the Speaker. I'm not a big fan of Kevin McCarthy, so hopefully they'll pick someone else to be Speaker. But at least she won't be there. Fucking rude ass bitch. I thought it was funny, not to get off on a whole situation here, but guess what? That's what we do here. There's a conspiracy theory. No, there's a theory going around right now, and I didn't know this, but evidently anyone could be voted in as Speaker of the House. Okay. I was always under the impression that whoever was made Speaker of the House had to be a sitting member of Congress, and evidently that's not true. So there's a suggestion, theory, whatever you want to call it, floating around where if the Republicans take over the House, they elect Trump as Speaker. Because I had heard this before, and I was like, well, how in the hell is Trump going to be Speaker if he's not in Congress? Well, it doesn't have to be. I didn't know this, and I'm pretty sure it seemed like a pretty reputable source who had said this, so I'm pretty confident in what I heard. But could you imagine? So then, of course, then you could jump down the rabbit hole. People are like, well, if Biden resigns or retires or gets 25th Amendment or whatever, of course they put Kamala in, but then Kamala would be, so basically it would all have to coincide within a very short time. And by that I mean this. Okay, so if Biden resigns or is 25th amendmented, or is impeached. I don't personally see him being impeached or resigned. I think the only way he's gone is if they get him on the 25th Amendment. At any rate, so however it is, if he's out, Kamala automatically goes in as president. Okay, so a lot of people would sit here and tell you, okay, so then that makes her president and Pelosi vice president. No, it doesn't work like that. The only way Pelosi becomes president is if both the president and vice president are gone at the same time. So ideally you would have to have Biden quit or whatever, and shortly thereafter impeach what's her face? Fucking Cackles McGee. What the hell's her name? Kamala. You'd have to get rid of both of them like that. And then she would be implemented. I mean, ideally, the point of the speaker being the third person is if, God forbid, you don't want to see anybody die. So God forbid if Biden and Harris were to both perish at the same time, then Pelosi steps in. So ideally, you very rarely ever hear or would ever see that situation occur because there's really never a point where you don't have a president and a vice president. So like I'm saying, if Biden was out, they would make Harris president, and very quickly they would get a VP in there. And the way that works is very similar to having a justice, Supreme Court justice installed, essentially, or your cabinet members. So Harris would say, oh, I want so-and-so to be the VP. So then so-and-so would be vetted, and then he or she would go in front of Senate committee and have, questions and so on and so forth, and then they would be approved or not approved or whatever. So you generally don't have too much of a situation where you're going to have just a president and no VP. And that's another reason why you very rarely see, you'll never see, okay, so if Biden and Harris are wherever, if they're in New York for the destruction from the hurricane or Louisiana or wherever, they may be there together, but they never fly together. And they never fly the same place, or, they'll never go in the same direction. One will go right and one will go left. And that's basically for safety reasons, because if a terrorist were to take down one of the planes, you don't want both your VP and president in the plane. If something were to just happen to the plane, you don't want that. So anyway, so you would, so Biden's out, Harris is in. So then Harris would be in. Of course, you would have another, she would pick whoever to be her vice president and whatever. So ideally, you'd have to have it happen where within a short span of time, Biden's out, Harris is in, and before she can not even choose somebody, obviously she probably already has those inklings in her head, because I think that this is going to, at least the Biden out and her in, is going to happen before we realize it. He's not going 4 years, by the way. I can tell you that right now. The key is, I think, well, let me finish this and I'll go into the key. So the point would be is for him to be out, her to be in, and before she could name somebody or that person go through Senate confirmation, at that point, the House and Congress and Senate would have to be already taken over by Republicans. That way you could deny the confirmation, right? And then try to go after Harris, okay? Whether it be an impeachment or whatever. And if you have Trump in there as your speaker, and then said speaker would become president. It's a long shot. It's kind of like, being a Browns fan and saying they're going to win a Super Bowl this year. Not to alienate anybody that's listening to us from Cleveland, but you know. So ideally, that's what would have to happen. Will that happen? Doubtful. Could it happen? Sure, it could happen because we're talking about it. I guess time will tell. So one other thing for the people that are listening to us in California, I'm sure I'm not speaking to people that are idiots, but I'm going to say this. If you're listening, I'm going to put it like this. If you live in California and you're listening to this show, you obviously feel some sort of way about Newsom. And I would assume you signed the petition to have him for the recall to begin. In case you don't know this, once again, I'm sure you do. 6 days, okay? So if you sign the petition to get Newsom out, make sure you go and vote. And make sure you vote no. Make sure you vote for. Make sure you vote for the recall, number one. Number two, make sure there's going to be a list of names, okay? And I'm not going to sit here and tell you who to vote for. I don't even know all the names. I know there's a shit ton of names. The names I know of, obviously, we've heard Larry Elder, we've heard Caitlyn Jenner, we've heard other names. I don't think Newsom's on there. I don't think his name can be on there. But if you vote no to the recall and the majority votes no, then you still are stuck with Newsom. You guys aren't new to a recall situation because that happened a few years back. You know the rules, you know how it works. So make sure when you say yeah to the recall, you vote for whomever. Now, don't just vote for whomever without doing some research. You got a few days left. Check out Larry Elder, see what he's about. From what I've heard, he's a black racist. No. Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard that one. I'm sure in California you did, but Gavin Newsom actually called him the black face of racism. It's like I don't get this. That goes back to the show last week with CRT, how it's not about black and white, it's about success and unsuccess. So anyway, Larry Elder is a black gentleman. He has a radio show. Grew up in Compton. Okay, I don't have to tell people that live in California what Compton's all about. So do some research on him. Do some research on Caitlyn Jenner and whoever else is running, whether they're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian. Check them all out. But don't sit here and cry about Newsom being your governor if you didn't go out and do something about it. You've got the ball rolling. All you got to do is keep kicking it down the field, and you get him the hell out of there. So, all right, guys. And what I want to do is tell you this. Today's Wednesday. So, like I said at the beginning of the show, is Wednesday, September 8th. We all know what this weekend is. This Saturday is 9/11, the 20th anniversary. I'm not going to go into any details of what's going on right now with as we're leading up to September 11th. That'll be on Friday's show. We're going to do a tribute to 9/11. It'll be on 9/10, but we'll do a tribute to 9/11. So make sure you check us out then. And I'm going to go into some details of some stuff that came out within the last day or so. That'll really piss you guys off if you don't know about it. And so don't forget to check us out there. And like I said at the beginning of the show, check us out on social media, Facebook.com/Don't Tread on America, Instagram.com/Don't Tread on America, and on Twitter.com/DTOM_1775, and on Rumble at Don't Tread on America. And don't forget about our sponsors, smoothmyballs.com, blah, 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 blah. smoothmyballs.com/DTOM for 20% off. Check them out for their razors and razor accessories, not just for the nether regions of men, but other regions too. Get your back, get your arms, get your butt. If you shave your butt, I don't know. And check us out. Also, check out Maker's Mark Whiskey. And, party on with that. And on that note,
fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks, don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right, guys. On that note, have a fantastic day, and I will see you on Friday for our 9/11 tribute. Have a great day, and we'll talk to y'all later.